I got a question. I got a question. I'm gonna let some folks come in. It's pretty late, so I don't know if anybody gonna show up, but I wanna experiment. I wanna try something. But I have a question. Let me just see real quick. Got a piss too, but I have a question. It's a deep question. Let me just see if anybody gonna hop up in this live. Very, very, very deep question. A question regarding reflection. So let's just see. Let's see if anybody will hop in this live. If not enough people hop in here, then I may go on live in the morning and ask the same question. But I got a question. I got one. If I post this video, then the best thing you can do is just skip ahead, to the question. I got a question. I got a question. I'm trying to let more folks join this live, but I have a question. I have a really deep, reflective question. Can anybody guess what kind of question I got? Here's a hint. Like I said, it's a reflective question, so you got to reflect. You got to reflect on yourself. But it's a really deep, philosophical question. Somebody else joined. I got a question. I'm playing the game right now. I got a question. It's a reflective question, very deep. Can you guess what it is? I need you to guess. I can't be doing all the work. You got to guess. Comment what you think the question is. I gotta see if anybody else joined. It's pretty late right now. It's 10:50 at night. So I don't even know what that says. That looks like I don't even know what language that is. I got a question. I got a very deep, reflective question. Before I ask it, I want to see if anybody can guess it. Like I said, it's reflective. You got to reflect. This is was your truck stolen? My answer would be yes. Yes, it was. Oh shit. Before I ask this question, I gotta know, how the hell was your truck stolen? 1250 from me. Goddamn. I got a question. I need y'all to just guess it real quick. Like I said, it's a reflective question, deep philosophical one, and I need you to really reflect. I don't need you to bullshit. I need you to really reflect. But I need you to first guess it. I know y'all got the rationality to at least question, at least reflect. But I'll give you about 30 seconds. My guess. Why am I stupid? Oh, I actually. Matter of fact, it's funny you said that because this kind of equals to my question. I came outside, it was gone, not there, missing from where I told it to stay. Done run off. God damn, you gotta be a better truck parent. Sometimes you gotta train or raise that truck right. All right, here's the question. I gotta know, and I need you to be serious. I know a lot of y'all come in here and y'all joke around as people. Do you believe that we are all hypocrites? If you don't know what a hypocrite is, just ask. But do you believe we're all hypocrites? Now that is a generalized statement. I'm asking, do you believe we are all hypocrites? I'll give you an example. What's a hypocrite? Let's give you an example real quick. Now I don't know if you really know or if you're just joking, but for the people out there, hypocrite pretty much is like saying, if I told you, hey, I don't think that we should be selfish people, and yet I act out being selfish. I'm pretty much saying that I think that we shouldn't do something, yet I do it. Hypocrite. Hello, sweetheart. What you doing? So the 100%. I believe everyone almost daily. Okay. And obviously I'm I'm more into dialectical argumentation. So I'm going to read the statement, and I'm going to analyze what you say pretty much, and question it. So one person says absolutely 100%. I believe everyone almost daily. Okay. If that's the case, I believe everyone almost daily. Zero count knowledge really wants that D. Okay. If that's the case, do you believe your own self to be a hypocrite? And if so, why do you think you are a hypocrite? And additionally, why can you not stop hypocrisy? I need to know. I need to see questions. Now, obviously, this is a philosophical question, but I need your best reflective answer. If you believe we're hypocrites, which includes you, let me say that again. If you possibly believe we are all hypocrites in a generalized statement, which will include you, why do you think you're a hypocrite? And why do you think you cannot stop hypocrisy? I gotta know. Now, I'll give y'all some time. I'll give you some time. If anybody else get on this live, I'll repeat the question. But I need y'all to really challenge me. And back for whoever, I don't know if the other person is still on this live, but who tried to be funny and said, "Why am I stupid?" And of a sense of hypocrisy, do you think that being a hypocrite is stupid? And if you are a hypocrite, why are you stupid? People leaving us live because this question is too difficult. It's a difficult thing to reflect. I'm gonna be honest with you. Well, I tell my kids to not do things I know that I used to do and don't explain why they shouldn't. Ooh. Ooh. Why do you feel that you naturally do that? And were your parents doing the same thing to you? Here's something challenging. I was sitting on Pinocchio. I was sitting on Pinocchio's nose. He called me pretty, and I felt his nose grow. Wow. I go to work some days, act lazy, but other days get mad at people for being lazy. Ooh. See, I'm sorry that the like button. I now some of y'all need to take notes. The like button over here. By the way, y'all need to like this live. I don't see no like. Like, come on, you gotta like reflect the material. You gotta like questioning your own self. If you don't, then you're gonna be nonsensical. You're gonna be lost in the sauce. And you need to subscribe, y'all. But anyways, the like button, which is the person commenting, is really, I mean, this is some honest answers towards hypocrisy. Why can't I change it? Because we all feel ourselves and we want to seem more intelligent than we actually are. Oh shit. Why can't I change it? Because we all feel ourselves and will want to seem more intelligent than we actually are. Now, what would we consider that? Is that an ego? Is that our pride? Is it that is it half of us that actually, as in half of our mind, that actually is persuaded to believe that we are intelligent, and another half believing that we're not? What is that conflict, that internal conflict? Is it internal confliction? I just killed myself. I released my soul. I am typing this in heaven right now. Never mind, I'm in hell right now. Damn, I don't know how you got those two confused. Damn, you must have just passed. Granted, self-reflection is very important, but here we go. We have a possible rebuttal. Let's see this. Granted, self-reflection is very important, but over-reflecting has real problems to yourself that comes with it. Oh shoot. I like that. I like that. Do you guys think that there's a thing of over-reflecting? And if there's and if it's a real problem, what is the real problem of over-reflecting? Ego, pride, arrogance. Look at the news. People want to be recognized for who they are, but keep others down. Oh, shoot. I believe ego is something that is constantly under management by our consciousness. I believe ego is something that is constantly under management by our consciousness. Why is that the case? The rhythm shadow. Why do you feel that? Yeah, why do you feel that that's the case? Nobody lives pure lives. Hypocrisy is born of guilt and judgment. Now, do we feel that guilt and judgment is an intuitive system, or is that something that is constructed? Do we have guilt and judgment based off of some kind of intuitive or innate, I don't know if I'm using the right words, by the way, innate system based off of just a pure being, of a human being, or is that something that has been socially constructed based off of certain particular ideologies? Now, I gotta let you guys know first, this page, I'm very nonsensical. I've stated in my bio. So some of the things I say might just sound like nonsense if you don't get it. Self-reflection is a good thing. When you start to feel your self-reflection is too much, it's probably because you feel bad for what you did. Okay, let me look at this real quick. Self-reflection is a good thing. When you start to feel your self-reflection is too much, it's probably because you feel bad for what you did. Hmm. Well, isn't that good though, to feel bad for what you did? Socially constructed. Okay, so outside of a social construction, do you think that inside we have no actual guilt? And do you think that animals, let's say your dog, for example, reacts based off, let's say your dog gets in trouble for something. Is it guilty? Does it feel guilty? Or is it just reactive to some kind of pattern of consequence, negative consequence? I disagree. Neffect 3D. Oh shoot, we have a disagreement. Let me hear this. Let me hear these rebuttals. Most people don't like to feel bad. Oh, most people don't like to feel bad. Okay. Innately, humans have guilt. Oh shoot. So you feel guilty or shame? Most people don't like to feel bad. Why do most people don't like to feel bad? What is bad in the most pure sense, if I can ask? I personally over I personally over reflect on every single situation without stopping to think how I feel about it, so I end up putting others' needs and feelings first. I personally, by the way, I have to reread things because that's just how I'm able to grasp things. I personally over reflect on every single thing I do and how it could affect others in social situations without stopping to think how I feel about it. So I ended up putting others. Oh, okay, I can see it. I can see what you mean. So in a sense, you're saying that over over reflecting or overthinking other people's situations doesn't kind of sometimes not allow you to prioritize your own how would you say, your own situations or your own conditions of mental health, or possibly, I guess you can kind of say. Bad needs context, honestly. Um, the other person says gay, gay, gay. I'm assuming that I'm assuming that's a self-reflection, since that's our topic. But yeah, if that's what you're self-reflecting on, gay, um, don't be ashamed of that. That's you. But I can't tell you what not to be ashamed of. This is your life. People can feel bad for a multitude of things and vice versa. So it's bad if bad needs context honestly, and people can feel bad for a multitude of things and vice versa. Are we talking more of a of subjective bad, or are we talking of let me see before innately humans have guilt? I disagree. um I believe ego is something that comes blah, blah, blah. If people, yeah, if people bad needs context, people feel bad for a multitude of things and vice versa. Is it that bad is based off of some kind of subjective, each person individual subjective view? I don't want to go too far from my original question, but yeah. Correct. They are coming out of the closet. It's good. It's good. If you got to go on this live just to bring out who you are, that do you. Like I said, this page is for self-reflection. Jew, Jew. Um. Okay. So you're Jewish, I would assume. Okay. Um. Do you you practice like you read the Torah or something? Like, let me know. For the most part, bad is subjective, even though there are universal things that humans deem as bad. Mm. For the most part, bad is subjective. So, somebody else's view, even though there are universal things that humans deem as bad. All right. So, if you're talking about universal things that humans deem as bad, um, are we talking about that? This is where it gets a little confusing for me. If we're talking about most part bad is subjective, but there are universal things that humans deem as bad. Are we talking about still a social construction or an innate system to where it is universally bad? Well, that I'm leaving the community. I'm Jew, I'm gay, I'm leaving the community. The LGBTQ people forced me to burn down a house. They forced me to destroy an orphanage. I'm thinking of becoming straight. Um, I don't. I'm be honest with you, unless, and this could be philosophical too, of course, but there's not much where a person could force you to do something unless, I mean, even if a person put a gun in your head, you really still aren't forced. I mean, unless you choose to die. But I don't think anybody forced you to burn something down. That seems like something you just do. Murder, stealing, etc., can be seen as universally bad, while have more than one wife might not be seen as bad from certain cultures or religions. Oh, I like this. Now, murder, stealing, do we only consider murder bad because of the fact of, okay, so where do we separate the intentions of killing as a means of justification versus a means of actually bad? So, for example, do we take bad murder and bad only because of someone doing it to a human or a dog, or does the same thing apply when we do it to animals to eat? Like, where do we find that justification of murder? You're not harming anyone unless you're counting their mental health if they don't approve of a second marriage. You're not harming anyone unless you're counting their mental health if they don't approve of a second marriage, your spouse. When you go out of your way to bring harm to something, then that would be objectively bad. Oh, you know what I find pretty interesting though is that you got um interested in the conversation, even though you were spamming and playing the first time. Hmm. So murder is worse than second marriage. Okay, let's look this back over real quick. You're not harming anyone unless you're counting their mental health if they don't approve of a second marriage. your spouse. When you go out of your way to bring harm to something, then that would be objectively bad. So murder is worse than second marriage. Anybody want to rebuttal that? By the way, it's always great to find a rebuttal, especially if you have a certain belief, because you gotta remember that inside this chat, this is argumentation, and we are arguing a certain point of view. So it's always good to be open to see if anyone has a rebuttal towards your argument, or if you even have a possible rebuttal yourself. Oh, again, I'm nonsensical. By the way, I am about to get off this live soon. But you all should subscribe because I actually like your responses. I'm gonna actually have a lot of deeper philosophical conversations and lives up ahead. But some of you are actually onto something. But I would like to see possible rebuttals towards the last couple of chats. I'm still trying to read with this the band demand what the fuck the bandan 79 is saying. Sometimes it's about uh, uh, grammatical or quotations for me so I can fully understand something. I mean, I have Muslim relatives and I don't see an issue with having more than one wife since it's the woman's choice to do so. It's the woman's choice to do so. I have, I have Muslim relatives and I don't see an issue with having more than one wife since it's the woman's choice to do so. Actually, I have a question. I actually like that. All right. So obviously we're talking about culture, right? We're talking about what is acceptable inside of a culture. Now, inside of the culture of something like Muslim ideologies and potentially multiple wives, is it? I hold on. I'm gonna get into it. Hold on. I don't personally approve, but yeah, it's generally better than murder or stealing in any culture. Okay. Is it truly the woman's choice, or was it constructed or systematically based off of historical events or historical ideology? So, for example, what I'm trying to say is that did the system of Muslim ideologies make people feel that they're making a choice based only off that ideology, or is it really an actual choice? Or, for example, um, let's say music, right? I'm from my dad is a musician, and because of him being a musician, being around that, I grew up around music all the time. Music's constantly hitting my ears, so there's no surprise that when I get older, I feel that I should do music. Is that a clear choice I made, or was that conditioning? Women has more rights in the Quran than the Bible. A lot of people don't know this though. I have to actually read some of that Quran. I'm pretty ignorant um, towards doctrines. I'll be honest with you. I might know a little something something, but pretty ignorant. But before I head out of here, I just want to see real quick if you all think that it is a product of pure choice or is it a product of conditioning? Because, for example, we will say, let's say, let's say I was Muslim, right? And I had Muslim ideologies, and I said that it is. By the way, again, this is arbitrary. I'm making stuff up. I'm not saying this is falls in Muslim ideologies. Actually, let's just say I made up a new religion called Tantana. I don't fucking know. And I said that women or that men are able to marry multiple women. People start going for it, and let's say generations down the line, I start teaching my children, or people start teaching their children, that men are supposed to have multiple wives. Do people are they reasoning that that is a true and objective fact, or are they just conditioned to think that that is true? Well, we need to start the first. Oh shoot. The Tata Church. There isn't a human alive that is not conditioned by their environment. But by the same token, there is not a human alive without free will and the ability to form their own opinions. All right, hold on. Let's see this real quick. I'm about to leave, but let me just see this because the rhymes, the rhythm shadow is killing it. I'm gonna be honest with you. The rhythm shadow is killing it. And there isn't, so let's just look at the argument real quick. Pretty much, there is not any human alive that is not conditioned by their environment. So if we look at something like classical conditioning or psychology in general, we do take it to be a fact right now, at least, that human behavior is highly influenced by environmental conditioning. Okay, so I like how that's going. But by the same token, there is not a human alive without free will and the ability to form their own opinions. Now, the thing that confuses me though is that if one is conditioned, it is absolutely conditioned by some kind of network or chain or their environments or whatever like that. But we also argue that they have free will. Do they really have a choice? So for example, let me say this. You grew up inside of an environment that is highly poor, where crime is really high, and the people around you say that the best way to get by is by doing this, and they are conditioned based off of their environment. They can't see past that. They might have a low educational system in that area. Are they making a clear choice to actually, obviously, if you're not around resources, I don't expect you to know what you can't see, but is it likely that they're going to break out of that cycle which their environment is in, or is it likely that they're still going to fall within the conditions of their environment based off of them already being conditioned? If no one sits there and, like, let's say you're inside of a place that doesn't really have, that's not high in logical analysis or reasoning, is that person likely to gain some reasoning in their environment, or are they not, only because they're conditioned by an environment that has no reasoning? It takes someone really strong and resilient to break out and change their destiny. Ooh. Now, how do you gain resilience in that will inside of an environment that has conditioned you, that does not have resistance or will? That's what I want to know. Matter of fact, I'm gonna leave you all in mystery. I want you to think about that. Subscribe, because we're gonna start again. The villain is out.